Hello, everybody. Just give you guys a couple minutes to get online and get everything shifted. I'm excited for everybody to be here today. I'm excited to be back live today. It's been a couple of weeks. I just want to before I start taking some calls here, I have some news that I want to announce, and I just want to talk a little bit about this last month of chaos. I definitely appreciate all of you for your patience this last month. I know I haven't gone live on a Tuesday in I think 2 or 3 weeks now. Unfortunately, I had some family business to take care of in Ontario, and I shouldn't say unfortunately, because I did get to visit with a lot of my family as well, whom I hadn't seen in a long time. So that was amazing. But I didn't get as much chance to spend with you guys. It's a little hard to go live when you're on the road especially when you're on the road with 3 kids. So I appreciate your patience, but I am back, and I am back with some game-changing news, you guys. So, first of all, actually, let me back up a little bit. First of all, thank you to all the members for your patience as far as the newsletter goes. I had a bit of writer's block when I came back from Ontario the last time. I had that week and a half in between that I was really trying to get it out, and I just could not get my thoughts down on paper. But you know, after 10,000 kilometers on the road to like form your thoughts, I kind of figured them out. So that will be out soon. And I'm excited for the stuff that what's going to be shared in there and the updates and all of that. But also I wanted to let you guys know that in the newsletter, one of the benefits of being a member is that in the newsletter, I want to have a space for the members to be able to share whatever it is that they want. So if you have your own business, if you are selling something, if you just want to leave a testimonial about your reading, whatever it might be, please let me know. I need you to send that to me sooner rather than later, because I'm going to be trying to get this newsletter out by the end of the week. So definitely let me know, and I will include that in there so that it goes out to all the members. Okay, so game changer. What is, yeah, game-changing news. Okay, so as you guys all know, and many of you have been here since day one with me, I have definitely struggled with the technology aspect of the live readings. But thanks to a lot of help and a certain lady named Krista, she has helped me figure some of this out. So, as you know, I offer phone readings, personal private readings by phone, as well as in person. But now I will also be able to offer online Skype kind of readings through Zoom, actually. And I've already tested it out, and there was no disruptions. Like even on Facebook Live here, sometimes there'll be a lot of like disruptions and stuff. But on Zoom, it was so clear and so easy. So the beauty of this, you guys, is that so from now on, these readings can be recorded, and then they can be sent to you. Because Zoom will record all the readings. The other thing is that because I can have up to like, I think it's like up to 100 people online at the same time. So this is really funny. This is me trying to explain technology, so bear with me here. It's going to be interesting and entertaining. So basically I can host my own group readings, and you don't have to have like 5 or 10 people of your own friends before you can get the group reading. If you would like to sign up for a group reading, which is a lot more convenient and cost effective, I would say, for people, because it's only $60 a person, then you'll be able to just join one of the groups that I'm offering online, because it can be like 10 people from like anywhere in the world that can sign up and be a part of the group reading. So I'm so excited about that. And the best part of that is that they're recorded. Like, how awesome is that? I don't think I've ever had a total group reading that was like completely recorded before, other than the ones that from like a couple of years ago that, never mind, I won't even go into that. But this type of situation I've never had access to. So I'm extremely excited if you guys understood any of that, because as you can tell, technology is not my jargon. Watch for this coming up, because now when you call and you ask to book a private reading, you can book it through video Skype, whatever it's called as well, and they're recorded, so yay. Okay, so that being said, I am going to start taking calls here, but there's something that bothered me all the way home from Ontario that I have to talk about before I start taking some readings, because I think it's extremely important to get this point out there. Okay, so this is the thing, you guys. I don't know how this medium stuff works. I don't know why I pick up information the way I do. I don't know why I've had this ability my entire life. Part of me going live, actually, was to try to figure that out, to try to figure out what these signs and symbols and things meant that I kept seeing in my head all the time. And thanks to your guys' help, and thanks to, the fact that I have done this a lot more every day throughout the last few years, I've figured this out a lot. But here's the thing. What I've learned about this is that you're going to get out of this what you put into it. So the reason why I say that is because I had a group reading in Ontario, and I'm not sure if these ladies are listening. I know that they're definitely followers of my page, and I don't want to use first names, so I'm just going to say D for the lady's first name who hosted the group. D, I hope you know who you are. Anyway, it was in a city called Owen Sound in Ontario. One of the most beautiful cities I've ever been in, I have to say. But anyway, I go all the way out there. Like I'm telling you, this is like 4,000 kilometers to Owen Sound. And I can feel this father in my ear the whole way there. And he's so excited to talk to his kids. And I can feel this. And that's what he's saying, is kids with an S. So I get to this reading. And it's very tricky for me. It feels like sometimes it feels the way it does when I'm sitting up here with you guys. It's almost like the people there wanted to test me. It's almost like sometimes people will come to see me or they'll phone me, and it's like they've got something in their head that they have set up beforehand. And unless I say this or do this or this specific thing is mentioned, then they're not going to believe any of this. And unfortunately, what ended up happening with this group of people, there was 6 ladies there. 3 of them were related. They were sisters. But they didn't tell me that. Not only did they not tell me that, but they went out of their way to keep that information from me. Spirit mentioned multiple times different things that I didn't understand, that I was getting frustrated about, because when I'm in a group reading and there's 6 people there, I try to make sure that each person gets a message. So while I can feel the emotional bond of the person that's behind you or beside you, however you want to look at it, I don't see them the same way that we see each other. So I can't tell that the guy that's beside this person is exactly the same guy that's beside this person. All I can tell you is that they both have lost a father figure, if that makes sense. So I'm doing this group, and this father figure comes through for one girl, and he gives a beautiful message about how he was kind of neglectful through a lot of their life. I don't know about neglectful, but like workaholic kind of energy. And this beautiful message about how much he loved his daughter and was happy that they got to reconnect towards the end of his life. And then he looks at another girl in the group, or I should say, then I felt the father figure from the other girl in the group step forward and say, yeah, times 2. Okay, So I tell them that. I'm like, I don't know what this means. Why did your dad step forward and say ×2? I feel like he's trying to cheat you here and try to give you like half of a message. Like, I usually don't allow spirit to do that. If they step up and say ×2, well, how does that prove anything? That's not validating. Like, you can't just step forward and say ×2 and that's going to be good enough for that person. Like, I was so frustrated. And so I kept trying to make sense of these messages, and they were specifically not, you know, coming up and saying, well, you know, maybe it could be ×2 because he's also my father, so that message goes for me as well as my sister. No, they didn't offer that up. And in fact, and I'm telling you, this played on my brain all the way back to Calgary, because there was so much love coming from this father figure to his daughters. He just wanted to express this to them more than anything in the world. And they had some kind of thing going on where it was like, they wanted to keep this information from me so that they could know if it was real, or I don't know how to explain it, but like, I mean, the father figure even stepped forward at one point and said he was kissing the 3. Okay, so the father figure steps forward and he shows me kissing 3 people. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And that's exactly how he showed me. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And I didn't know what that meant. And I'm like, he's kissing 3 people who's got the 3 kids. And they're like, no, there's 4 in our family, and I've got this many, and so-and-so's got this many, but there's not 3. And I'm like, and I keep repeating, mwah, mwah, mwah. And so anyway, and it didn't make sense, and I wasn't even really able to place it until much later. So the end of the reading, I'm a little frustrated because I feel like some of the messages were really hard to understand. I felt like the fathers were being cryptic. They were really piggybacking off of each other. Like, I couldn't figure out why it was so many father figures coming through, why they all seemed to want to like repeat what the other guy said. And I was so confused until the lady looked at me and she said, so Tracy, do you think it would have helped if we had told you that that us 3 are sisters? I literally was almost speechless. Like, would it have helped? Are you kidding me? Of course it would help. This is the thing. Like, these messages are not for me, you guys. These messages are for you. They're personal, they're private, they're for you. My job is to simply tell you what I'm seeing, and your job is to explain it to me, because I don't know what they mean. So, I mean, when he was saying he's offering kisses for 3 people, there was 3 sisters there. One was sitting on this side of the room, and then the other 2 were sitting right beside each other on this side of the room. So when he's going mwah, 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 well, now that makes sense, doesn't it? But if you don't tell me that there's 3 sisters in the room or at the reading, then of course that's not going to make any sense to you, right? So I guess my point of this whole spiel, and Dee, if you're listening, you know, I'm just sad for you guys, because the thing is that it's not like Spirit gets up here and they tell me their whole story and then I repeat it all to you. It's much like a translator, okay? So they will give me 1 sentence or 2 sentences, and my job is to tell you what I'm seeing or what they're showing me. Your job is to tell me that you understand or you don't understand. And when we're on the same wavelength, when we've got the messages correct, Spirit will then give me the next sentence in the story. But if you are withholding some information from me, or if I'm not understanding, you know, the first part of the message, I can't move on to the next part because it doesn't make any sense. So I won't understand it. So I'm telling you all this because I come here every week because I want to be able to help you guys connect and with Spirit, with the other side, to validate that there is more to life than just what's here in the physical world, to give you that ability to connect with your loved ones on the other side. And I mean, I can't help you if you don't help yourself. You have to meet me halfway. I don't know how this works. I honestly don't, other than to say that, you know, when I'm around people and when I'm doing readings or I'm talking to someone, I get images and signs and symbols and pictures and emotions. And, you know, if I just tell you what they mean, if we work together, you know what they mean and they'll make sense to you. And so, you know, I'm going to like make this a long story short, and don't worry, I will stay a little longer and take messages a little, or give messages. See, I can tell Spirit's coming soon because my brain's not working properly. I will take messages a little longer. I really want to make sure that you guys get the most out of this. So if you're calling to, you know, not trick me, but I mean, if you've got it set in your mind that you need to hear exactly one thing or the other, or it's not true, then don't call me, because it's just, you're wasting your time and mine. If you really want that connection with your loved ones on the other side, if you really want that guidance moving forward, or to know what your guides, your loved ones, whoever it is that comes through has to say, then absolutely give me a call, but be willing to work with me, because I'm not magic. I'm telling you, it's not like I can, you know, I have magic powers or anything. This is something that only works when we work together, as with many things in life. So all right, I think I'm done talking. So, yeah, I know I'm done talking. I'm absolutely picking up so much spirit I can't hear myself think, if that makes sense. All right, so guys, today's Member Saturday. Tuesdays, I will be here to speak to anyone. If you can get through, I will absolutely give you a message. So, here we go. Hello? Hello? Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Are you calling for the free readings?
Yes.
And do you have a membership?
I do.
Okay, perfect. What is your first name?
Deb, D-E-B.
Okay. I'm just going to take you off speakerphone for 1 second. I think I know exactly who this is. 1 sec. Okay, so do you have your number on you? Okay, perfect. You can give that to me now. I just took you off speakerphone. Yeah? Perfect. Okay, I'm going to take you out or put you back on speakerphone. All right. Okay, so interesting. You have a lot of energy coming through with you today, Deb. I can barely even feel myself think straight. So if you've ever seen my readings before, which you probably have, which is why you have a membership, I like to start with a grounding exercise. So if you can put both feet flat on the floor for me for a minute.
Hey there.
And I would like you to take a deep breath, but I want you to picture that deep breath starting at your big toe, slowly pulling it all the way up through your body, and then blow it straight through the phone at me, and then just give me 1 minute to focus. Okay, interesting. Okay, so give me a second to sort this out. Slow down.
Not a problem.
Okay, so distinctly okay. I'm just going to throw a lot of this at you, and then we'll make sense of it after, okay?
Okay.
So the first thing that I'm aware is that there's two people that step forward that feel like they were married here in the physical world, or that were together in the physical world, because they step forward hand in hand. So I don't know if that's both your parents or grandparents yet, but it's definitely people that were together in life. But they step forward with the person that's underneath them. So I don't know if that's their child or who lost the child, or this could have even been like an aunt or an uncle or something, but it's underneath them, if that makes sense. And then there's another person that steps forward on this side that feels like, I'm not sure who he is, but he feels like, sorry, there's two more people, even as I say that. There's a gentleman and then there's a lady, but they feel differently related. So I'm not sure where I'm going to start. Give me a second here.
Okay.
Okay, I want to start with the two people that come forward that were together here in the physical world that are on the other side now with the person that's underneath of them. I keep hearing Daddy's hands as well, so I'm almost wondering if this is on Dad's side or if it's Dad that's on the other side. This is either grandparents bringing forward your father who's underneath them, or this would be somebody from dad's side, because I'm definitely hearing daddy's hands, daddy's hands. Is both of your dad's parents on the other side?
They are.
Okay, and so is your father also on the other side?
He is.
That would make sense to me why they're coming forward and bringing his soul forward at the same time. Okay, so give me a second. Wow, okay. So the way this information is coming through, give me a second just to understand what this means, Deb. So I'm not sure which of the three of them it is. I almost think it's the father. So somebody's taken me to the brain and is talking, and I'm feeling an awful lot of confusion. So confusion is really hard for me to get past until we validate it, because if you can imagine trying to navigate through being confused. So there's absolutely a sense of confusion. But here's the thing, is that I almost feel like I want to go to the father figure. And I almost feel like he's talking about being confused at the end of his life, or during part of his life, actually, is the way he makes me feel. He's also...
Yeah, he had a brain tumor.
There we go. Okay. Slow this down. He's also snapping his fingers, like letting me know that this went quicker or more sudden than we expected. He's like, Tracy, literally, one day we find out that this is there, and the next day everything changes. Everything changes. It's not like we had a lot of warning. It was like one day he's normal, the next day he's not. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Your dad wants you to know, he keeps showing me the whispering of the ear, which is my symbol for that they heard everything that you said when he passed away. He's also showing me the holding of the hand, so he's very well aware that people were there with him when he passed. And the way he says it to me, he's like, Tracy, they didn't leave me alone for a second. And it's almost like you guys weren't 100% sure if he knew that you were there or not, but he's like, oh my God, it was like one person after another, after another, after another. Does that make sense?
Yep. He had it operated on, and he didn't make it, so I would presume that would be all the doctors and the nurses.
All over the place. But he's absolutely, okay, he's going back to the holding of the hand. So somebody must have sat with him after he passed then, because the holding of the hand, he's absolutely validating. And I'm feeling like I'm getting kissed on the forehead. Somebody held my hand after I passed and kissed my forehead. He's hearing what they're saying to him. Did they allow somebody to sit with his body after he passed?
Yeah, my mom.
There you go. So please validate for her. Please let her know that he heard everything that she said to him. And then, you know what he does is he shows me my symbol for the rose. So when they show me the rose, that usually means something that happens once a year. So like birthday or anniversary. And I feel like he wants to acknowledge that this happened like either right before he passed or right after. It was like close to, I don't know if it's a birthday or an anniversary, but he's acknowledging that this happened close. I feel like it was right after an event. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it was right after their anniversary.
There you go.
And it's funny because the roses, we all got roses at his funeral.
Huh. So he's like letting you know that this is his way of validating that he knows about that. When you say the funeral too, he's saying thank you for the music. I'm not sure what that means, but hold on. I feel like you guys got music that maybe you didn't like just because you knew he would, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
He's like thanking everybody for putting up with his music, but he's tickled pink because he's like joking about how he tried to get everyone to listen to his music all the time and nobody wanted to hear it. And then he passed and everybody listens to it.
Yeah.
It's almost like, did he like country or something?
No, it was more like Elvis Presley and that type of stuff.
The older music, right?
Yeah, yeah, James Dean, that kind of thing, you know.
You know, he shows me the body scan that is my symbol for somebody who was in a lot of pain before they passed. And then he shows me the brain scoop, which is my symbol for somebody who has images burned into their brain. So, like, it would be his way of saying that he doesn't want you to remember him that way at the end of his life. He's showing me that, he keeps showing me the body scan and then the brain scoop. The body scan and the brain scoop. It's like, oh, I'm so upset that at the end of my life I was in all this pain and I was like, this is the way that they're remembering me. He's like, please remember him when he's younger. He's showing me how strong he was. Little but mighty is kind of the way that he puts it. Was your dad not the tallest guy around?
Oh, he was tall enough. He was about 6'2".
That's tall.
Yeah.
Why is he showing me small but mighty? Hold on. He points to you when I say that, small but mighty. Hold on.
Well, I'm 5'9", so I'm not that short for a woman.
He's still calling you shorty. So, I don't know, maybe that's just because he was so tall. But again, he's pointing to you and he's showing me my symbol for strength. And when I ask him, like, well, what are you talking about? He's like, you let her know she got my strength. She's got this. Hold on. I don't know what he's talking about yet, so hold on. He's changing the subject, so to speak. Okay, so I don't know if he's bringing up somebody else or if he's just bringing, okay. I'm not sure if this person is on the other side or if he's just talking about her here, but I feel like he's going to your mom because he's going to the lady to the side. He puts the white blanket around her shoulders, which is my symbol for watching over somebody in the physical world that has either health or stress issues. But then he holds her hand. So oftentimes when I see spirit hold somebody's hand after putting the white blanket on, that's my indication that they're on the other side with him. Is your mom also on the other side?
No, she's still here.
She's still here. Okay. So has she had some health issues?
Somebody passed away recently, though.
Okay. Who's a female?
No, it's a male.
Okay. So that would be the guy that's over here, who I brought up earlier. So hold on a second. Stick with me because Dad's definitely talking about the female to the side, and he's putting the white blanket around their shoulders. So has Mom had some health or stress issues recently?
No.
It's funny. As I say this, he shows me my symbol for the handshake, which is like making peace usually on the other side, or meeting for the first time, but clearly they wouldn't meet for the first time. Were your parents separated here in the physical world, Deb?
No.
Weird. Interesting. Hold on. See, we're not getting this right because he's showing me the same symbols over and over and over again. He's taking me to the side. So if this isn't to his side, then do you have a sister or somebody?
I do.
Okay. Because all I know is he's going to the side. He's putting the white blanket around their shoulder, which would indicate health or stress issues.
Yeah.
So that makes sense for your sister?
It does.
But see, here's the thing. Then he's showing me holding her hand. Now, here's where I'm having trouble understanding, because usually if Spirit is saying that somebody is on the other side with them, they'll show me holding the hand but pulling them up beside them. That's not the way that I'm seeing this. Even as I'm saying it, I'm understanding it. He's showing me holding her hand. So I think what he's trying to say is that she's not alone going through this, that she has a lot more help going forward. And please just let your sister know that these challenges that she's going through right now are not meant to break her. They're meant to redirect her to where she needs to go for what she's been praying for. Does that make sense?
Yes. My sister has a mental illness.
I see. That's why your dad is showing that he's walking with her, hand in hand on the other side, that there's not a minute that she's alone. But she needs to embrace the help that's being offered. It's almost like she's running away from it, afraid that it's going to hurt her. And your dad is like, just let her know that this is meant to help her. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
And then he's showing me the birthday cake around her. So did she just have a birthday or is it coming up?
It's coming up.
He'd like to wish her a happy birthday.
I'll give her that message.
Okay, so then now I'm going to come to this gentleman that is over here. This down. He snaps his fingers, so his passing is either sudden or unexpected. There's a
yeah, he was diagnosed with cancer in December and he passed away in March.
Yeah, very quick. There's a lady that steps forward with him, letting me know that she was there to greet his soul when he got to the other side. Is this on mom's side now?
No, this was my common-law husband.
Okay, because remember when we first started, I said that there's these people that are related, and then there's this person over here that's not related, but so I wasn't sure if that was dad's side and mom's side or how they fit, but he's letting me know he's not related to those other people, but the lady that steps forward with him is definitely related to him. So if this was like this, you said this was your common-law husband?
Yes.
So would his mother be on the other side?
No, actually, she's still going strong at 95. I'm still looking after her.
Wow.
It would
Actually,
be his grandmother.
yeah. You know what?
He loved his grandmother.
Even as you say she's still going strong and I'm looking after her, as you said that, I heard the both of them say, why do you think that we're both here to talk to her? Like, why do you think that, okay, put it this way. Why do you think that the grandmother so desperately is coming forward? Because it doesn't feel like you knew her in life.
No, I didn't.
There is a huge thank you there. Hold on a second. Okay, so slow this down. So what this woman did was she just placed a halo over your head. And she's like, no word of lie, this lady is an angel. She's talking about how well you took care of, I'm just going to call him your husband because I think common law is kind of cheapening the relationship bond that I can feel between the two of you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because he doesn't come through as like a common law. He comes through as husband. Like the love that I feel from this man to you and from the grandmother to you is unmeasurable. The interesting part is what he shows me is it's almost like, see, because he puts on the rose-colored glasses, which is my symbol for when spirit sees things differently on that side than they did when they were here in the physical world. And he's talking about, like, he takes me towards the end of his life, and then he shows me that his love magnifies times 10,000. But it's almost like he took it for granted a little bit beforehand. And then at the end of his life, there's so much gratitude for the way that you took care of him, the way that you just stepped up to the plate. And not once did you make him feel like a burden. Do you understand that?
Yep. I did everything I could in my power.
He's like making me feel like he knew how darn lucky he was, because I feel like the way that, how do I explain this? The way that he's bringing this forward is almost like you didn't have to do that because he wasn't the best husband. It's not like, you know, he's wined and dined you and spoiled you every day of your life. He wouldn't have blamed you if you had have been like, oh, well, you're sick. You know what I mean? And then it's just like, oh my God, like she's just so here for me. Like, I don't know how to explain it. There's just such a feeling of, at that point, that he feels like he wasted, maybe that's just it. Maybe it's not so much that he wasn't a great husband. It's more like, I feel like I wasted my time beforehand. I coulda, woulda, shoulda done so many more things together if I had known that our time was limited. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do. He says he wasn't a very good husband, but he showed me so much.
Yeah, because even as I was saying that, and he started taking me to that point where the reflection kicked in. It's almost like when he got the diagnosis. You know what I keep hearing is this song. It's on my playlist. You'll have to forgive me. I heard a lot of music over and over and over and over again on the way back from Ontario. And there's this song. It's a country song. I'm not sure. I think it's Scotty McCreery, or I don't know, that sings "Live Like You Were Dying." And he keeps playing that song in my head, and he's making me feel like it was very much like that for him. Like that when he was diagnosed, he realized that he wished he could have done things differently or appreciated things differently or taken advantage of things a lot more before his time was up, you know?
Yep.
Okay, so the grandmother figure is like, she's going to, so I think this would be his mom, the lady that's here in the physical world. She's taking me to the head, and she's snapping her fingers. Is there, hold on, I think she's saying she's smart as a freaking whip, I think is what she's saying, because she's taking me to the head, she's snapping her fingers, and she's showing me my grandmother, who lived until she was 97, and there was not an ounce of dementia anywhere to be seen. She was extremely together from the time, right up until the day she passed.
Yeah, she's as smart as a whip. She's cheeky.
He has so much gratitude for the way that you have taken care of her. He's like showing me that this is like your connection to him, is kind of the way that you look at it. It's like you can feel him with you when you're taking care of her. He's acknowledging hearing you talk to him while you're taking care of her, and he's acknowledging that he is absolutely with you. He's telling me to validate that this is real. So did you feel him with you when you've been going over and like doing things for her and whatnot?
Most definitely.
He's like, please let her know that's absolutely real. I'm right there with her. Why does he go in her room and he's like, oh my God, that smells so much better. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Did you just, what does that mean? Did you just clean it out or bring flowers or?
No, air fresheners.
Okay. Because he's like going in her room and he's like, oh, that's so much better. Tell her thank you, thank you, thank you.
Good.
Just validating that, you know, his soul really is with you when you go in there, because it's something so random. How the heck would I have known about that, you know?
Yep, true.
You know, he's like, you know what he just showed me? Is he showed me taking some kind of jewelry from her and putting it in your hand and closing it in your hand. Almost like I don't know if his mother has offered you some type of jewelry, or I don't know what that means, but he's like telling you to take it. And I don't know how to explain this. Almost like if does she not have a lot of other family around or something like this? Because he's making me feel like when she passes, you deserve to have some of these things passed on down to you, and you shouldn't feel guilty about it. I don't.
Yeah, the only she's got grandchildren, great-grandchildren. She has one son still alive.
But when you say that, why do I feel a bit of sadness and that they're out here? Like I feel like they're outside the circle. I don't know how to explain that. Do they not visit her very often?
No.
That makes sense. That's why he's telling you. It's almost like, you know, when she passes, you were planning on just giving everything of hers to everybody else in the family because you feel like it's not your place to hold on to. And
that would be correct.
He's telling you to please take something because he knows right now that his mother would want you to have something of hers to remind you of her. And his grandmother is absolutely telling you the same thing, that you should not feel guilty because there's so much gratitude around this woman for you being there towards the end of her life. And it's not just being there, but it's like being there and having a thick skin, if this makes sense. Because, because you can't be there without this thick skin. And she feels like the type of woman that doesn't mean to be biting or mean. And maybe that's why they keep showing me my grandmother, because my grandmother was very much the same way. Like, look out if she was in a bad mood. Like, she went through so many nurses, it was not even funny, because let me tell you, she would tell them like it is. I remember one nurse coming in to help her with her bath, and she kicked that nurse out and told the nurse that she needed a bath herself. She stunk so bad, and don't come back until you have deodorant on. Like, she was biting. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I have to remind her to use her manners.
There we go.
Thank you.
So please know that your husband is just letting you know that he's extremely grateful for this. You've given him a peace on the other side that is just unexplainable. It's almost like, you know, when he passed away, or I should say when he got sick, this was something that really worried him. He's like talking about, thank you for keeping your promise, because he's letting me know that when he passed, he was worried about who's going to take care of mom, and you let him know, don't worry about anything. I've got this. I've got this.
Yep, I did promise.
Oh, that's why your dad earlier was saying that you've got this going forward. And that's why he's showing me how amazing you are. Hold on. Did your dad pass before he met your husband your husband? Did they not meet here in the physical world?
No, my dad was already gone.
Okay, because they just showed me the handshake, which is my symbol for either meeting for the first time or for making peace. But it doesn't feel like making peace. It feels like introductions.
Oh, that's awesome.
So please know that he has met your dad's soul on the other side. Aw, they're pulling their energy back, Deb. I hope that that was helpful.
It was. Thank you so very much.
You are very welcome.
And you have a good day.
You too. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Aw, that was so sweet. Okay, so I know I tend to like do longer readings when we're on the member Saturdays, but my kids aren't here and I just happen to have extra time, so. All right. Here we go. Hello.
Hi, Tracy. It's Rosemary calling for a reading.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good. Okay. I know that you're on my membership thing.
Yes.
So yours is a name that not a lot of people share, so it's hard to forget. I know for sure I've only got one Rosemary. Okay, so with all the readings, oh, interesting. I'm already getting some stuff here. Slow down, people. With all my readings, I like to start with the grounding exercise.
Yeah.
So if I can get you to sit with both feet flat on the floor for a minute, and then I'll get you to take a deep breath, but picture that deep breath starting at your big toe and slowly bringing it all the way up through your body, and then blow it straight through the phone at me, and then just give me 1 minute to focus. Huh. Okay. Interesting. So you'll have to forgive me, Rosemary, because I know that I did a reading for you not that long ago, maybe a month ago, and I should remember who all your dead people are, but I do not. I know that there is a lady that stepped forward, leaning over your shoulder and watching you work. And I do remember speaking. This is where it gets difficult after I've read for you a couple times, because I do remember speaking to somebody that was on the other side that was very much watching over your work, but I think she's a grandmother. I'm not sure how she's related. When I ask her to validate who she is, she kind of rolls her eyes at me and she's like, again? Like, do I have to do this again? Okay. So you're aware who this is, that we've talked before about her watching over your work, right?
Yes, yes.
Because as I say that, she steps forward. She's like, all right, let's get to it. You need to validate that this is awesome. This is like moving forward. You changed something up. I don't know how to explain this. She's like showing me something changed. Something's moving forward. You began something.
Yeah, I've had a couple clients come in for my holistic business. I've set up a course on my tapping that is selling quite well. It's about 45% sold out now, so that's definitely a good step forward.
You know what she just said when you were saying that? She's like, why do you think I'm so excited? She's like, make sure she's like, let her plug, Tracy, let her plug. Come on, plug it, plug it. Like, she's totally got you through today. Did you say to her, like, come on, girl, make sure that you get through today, because it's almost like, it's not like you said, let me get through to plug this. It's more like you said, let me get through so I know where I'm going here. And she's like, well, we're going to give you a plug at the same time.
Yeah, I did, because I've been trying to call in, because last week was a big change for me. Last weekend was a big emotional thing. So I did say to her, Grandma, if you need to tell me something, let me try and get through. And I called about 7 times before I reached you.
Aw. Okay, so she's very excited. She's showing me the 2 thumbs up. She start talking about this moving forward. I'm just going to plug this now from what I remember. Actually, I'm going to let you describe it, but describe the tapping for anybody that's listening, because it is definitely a spiritual holistic approach that could be very helpful for certain people. So can you describe that for me? Sure.
Tapping, or emotional freedom technique, EFT is it's sometimes called, is using a combination of neurolinguistics and acupressure, where you tap on different parts of your meridian to help release stored up energy, emotions, thoughts, so that you can deal with them, get rid of them, and move forward, and reprogram what you thought it was.
And how amazing is that? I mean, especially for people who come from backgrounds like myself, like traumatic backgrounds or dealing with PTSD and things like that, it can be super, super helpful.
Correct. It's also helpful for those of us that can't necessarily feel energy and actually need something physical and something that they can actually see and that's tangible. It works very well for those people.
Awesome. It's funny, as you're talking about this, she's showing me my symbol. She's like showing me bookings, like doop, 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 and she's like, you still got 2 months to go. And so it's like coming up in 2 months?
Yeah, September 22nd, September 15th, it's happening in Edmonton, and the early bird specials end August 23rd.
That's awesome. I don't think that you're going to have any problem filling it up this time. But okay, so she's taking me to another thing. She's also showing me 2 thumbs up as far as the relationship goes. She shows me the holding of the hands, which is my symbol for a relationship coming together, or an understanding of some sorts coming together. I'm not sure how to explain that, because then she shows me the 2 thumbs up. It's almost like there was a compromise or an understanding made of some sort. Does that make sense?
It can make sense a couple ways. My husband and I are, we're working on different things, both good and bad, as well as, for the first time since my grandmother passed, I had actually went back to her home and actually walked inside of the house for the first time.
Okay, hold on. When you say that, she's like, oh, we're going to talk about that. That's not what she's talking about here. So she's showing me relationship. The hands together are relationship. So this would be with you and your husband. She's wanting to acknowledge that there's some type of emotional, how do I put that? Understanding that you guys have come to. It's almost like if he was like nervous about what you were doing before, and now she's like, see, now he's like comfortable, or now I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like he was skeptical before and now he believes, or there's something about him coming around. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he was always kind of not sure if the holistic path versus a traditional day job was the way to go, but he's definitely getting more on board with it.
There we go. That's her way of validating that that's not going to change, that's going to keep getting better. He's going to keep understanding more and more and more. And she's like, it's funny. This is something that I just went through and that I was thinking about on the way back from Ontario for the second time this month, was that those of us who do spiritual work, oftentimes our first clients are those we love the most. It's like, we're able to help all these other people, and yet the people in our own family and our own closest loved ones are the skeptics,
Totally.
And so she's like, very much validating you that you have absolutely changed his heart, which when you and him are on the same page, then that gives you so much more strength to be able to go forward, and you're going to be able to help a lot of people with this. She's talking about being extremely proud that you didn't give up. It's almost like there was a feeling of wanting to give up when this didn't go so well before, or something that you were going to give up, and now you're starting to see this momentum building. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense.
She just showed me my symbol for challenge, and that challenge equals new opportunity. And then she's like, see? So whatever this was that you talked about that happened last week, it's almost like it presented itself at first like a challenge, like something that makes me go, okay, breathe, let's work through this. And then it turns into opportunity because it took you in a direction that leads to opportunity coming in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I needed to release what I knew I was holding in my mind, and letting it go so I could move forward freely.
Yeah, that's exactly, like, even as you say that, I can feel that release. And it feels like it's just the next step going forward. And that's how life presents itself, is that when we pray for something, like say we're praying for, in this situation, more clients or more, let's just say more clients, right? Well, we don't just wake up the next day with a lot more clients. There's a reason why we don't have that many more clients right at this moment, right? So what God will do is, you don't wake up the next day and have a bunch more clients. You'll wake up the next day and you'll be faced with whatever it is that you need to overcome to get those clients. Because God doesn't give us anything or do anything for us. He just helps us learn to do it for ourselves. Does that make sense?
Correct, totally.
So if there's something that you needed to release and you've been praying to move forward in that direction, then God will take you to whatever it is you have to release and allow you to work through it so you can move forward in that direction. And the grandmother is like, she takes me to the brain, to your head, and she's showing me the 2 thumbs up, and she shows me the snapping of the fingers. And I think what she's saying is that you understood that a lot quicker this time around, so you were able to move through it a lot quicker. It didn't hold you back for weeks or months at a time this time. You were able to see it, recognize it, work through it, put it aside, and move forward. Does that make sense?
Totally, yep.
She's like showing me the symbol for pride. She's like extremely excited about this week. She's just showed me getting in the car. Are you going on a trip this week? I feel like you're speaking or you're doing something this week, but you're going somewhere because she's going with you.
Well, she comes with me everywhere, but I'm not planning any kind of trip or anything to go anywhere, so
it feels
maybe
like
something's coming up for me.
It feels like it's a couple hours out of town. Like, I don't feel like she's not showing me packing a suitcase or anything, but she's definitely talking about something that's in another city or something that's a couple hours drive away. Hold on.
That was last weekend.
Okay.
Nothing planned this weekend.
Okay, but that took place last weekend?
Yeah, last Saturday we made a trip to her farm.
Oh, right. Okay, so this is where, remember, she said, we'll get to that. So this is her getting to that. Okay. She's talking about all the ways that it's changed. Here's the thing. She talks about how much it's changed, but it hasn't. So I don't know if somebody just painted and like somehow upgraded what was already there. I don't know how to explain that. She's talking about how much change that has happened even though it hasn't changed.
Yeah, like the structure itself is the same. Nobody's actually done anything to it. When I walked into the house for the first time in 26 years, it was, oh my God, you've turned this house into a hoarding house. Oh. You couldn't see half of, like, my grandma would turn in her grave as such, had her house ever looked like that when she was alive.
I see. That's why she's saying it hasn't changed, but boy, has it changed. And I'm like, how the hell does that even make sense? She's like, trust me, it makes sense.
It does make sense because there's no love, there's no emotion, there's nothing left in those walls.
Is it a gentleman that's living there?
Yep, my uncle it's living on the farmyard still, but not in the house.
When you said that, she's like, there's no room in the house.
That's right, there isn't. You couldn't put a bed in there if you tried.
Slow that down. Interesting. So does your uncle have some mental issues as well?
No, I don't believe so. He's pretty self-sufficient. He's on his own. He's got some health issues, but he doesn't have any mental issues.
I have to disagree there. She's taking me to the head. She's showing me my symbol for health, and she's taking me to the head. And then I feel, okay, so what I feel is this gentleman that lives alone. So he's not married, correct?
Correct, but he does have a roommate that lives with him on the farmyard.
Interesting. Because I'm feeling a man that's very much alone and poisoning himself with his own thoughts. Do you know what I mean? Like somebody who's not healthy upstairs. Like, so maybe it's not outward depression or whatever. I don't know how to explain that. But I'm definitely feeling somebody who is sick in the thought area. Maybe that just comes with the hoarding and yeah, even as I'm saying it, that's what I'm picking up. Because I've seen that show, Hoarders. And
yeah.
Even as I'm picking that up, it's hard for me to be around people with that kind of energy because they play things in their mind over and over and over again. Like they call themselves down. They beat up on themselves so bad that they become absolutely unable to overcome that, which is why they can't overcome it, because they've beaten themselves up so bad in their brain, or because they tell themselves that I can't throw this piece out because it'll ruin my life, or you know what I mean? Like it's what they're telling themselves in their brain. So she takes me to that, but then she's showing me a cough. And I feel like for his own protection, he's going to have to move soon.
Yeah, they've been talking, him and the roommate. He has been talking about moving into town just because out on the farm it's a little bit difficult. They get snowed in and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And he does have health issues, like he's got heart issues and he's got probably smoking related issues other than heart, because he was a heavy smoker as well. But I know they have been talking about moving into town.
And then it feels like, and see your grandmother's perspective on this. She's like, don't worry, sweetie. As soon as he's moving out, as soon as he moves out, everybody's going to jump in and redo this place. Like she's making me feel like we've already got things in motion to get this house redone or to upgrade it, if that makes sense, to clean it out and fix it up.
Yeah, like his brothers and sisters, so my mom and her brothers and sisters are making arrangements to go to the farm and get out whatever they have left in the farmhouse. And then once they move to town, they will be selling. And I mean, I don't think you could fix up that house to make it livable anymore, just because it is in bad shape. But I know that there was talk about, you know, somebody else moving in and tearing down the house and rebuilding, because it's a nice piece of land. It's just the house is not functional.
That's exactly what I'm picking up, is that she's extremely happy about this because it will be somebody's joy again. Because the way that she makes me feel is it's not so much that she was attached to the house. And because even as I say this, she makes me feel like that house pissed her off on a daily. Like, even though I feel like she took care of it, it's almost like everything needed to be upgraded. Like, you know, the piping needed to be done and this needed to be done.
There was no piping.
Okay, see? Exactly, right? Like everything needed to be upgraded.
Yeah, oh yeah, because it's not functional, it's not livable. There's no running water. There is power and there's propane heat. And she cooked on a wood stove. So
see, so as you say that, when you say she'd be rolling in her grave, she's like, no, not really. You know, that place could, you know, totally get torn down and somebody could build something beautiful there. Because here's the thing. While the house may have pissed her off or not pissed her off, that's the wrong word, maybe been a challenge for her. And for certainly nobody else in today's day and age is going to put up with those types of challenges.
Correct.
But what she says is that she really enjoyed her life there. that there's so much love and memories on that land, and that it would mean everything to her to see somebody else love that land and to see somebody else be able to raise their family there again, you know?
Yeah.
She's like, that's what is important, is that love continues, because there's something special about that land. She's showing me like 30 to 40. Did they live there a long, long time?
Yes, yeah. All of her kids were raised there. I went there as a kid, and my kids went there as kids. So yeah, it's we're now on our 5th generation in Canada, and all 5 generations have spent time on that farm.
And you know what she just said, Rosemary, is she said it's going to stay in the family. I feel
that'll be nice. I haven't seen anybody take an interest in it, so it'd be nice if it does stay in the family.
It feels like somebody in the family is absolutely going to take an interest. Is this like somewhere else? This isn't in Calgary. Like, this is not where you live, because she's taken me to a different city. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's about 45 minutes to an hour away from Edmonton.
Okay. She's so excited. Like, she shows me the snapping of the fingers, and I feel like this is all going to happen a lot quicker than we expected. It's almost like nobody realized exactly the state that this place was in until recently, and then as soon as one person realized it, it was like, here we go. And there's no looking back. Like, everything gets started moving forward with the clean out and all of that. Actually, the way she puts it is like one or two people knew but never did anything about it, and then one of the other siblings came in and saw it and was like, oh my God, I didn't realize it was like this, and then now everything's moving forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because there was my couple of my mom's siblings had gone, and probably saw the house but never said anything, but now that there's a big push for everybody to get their stuff out of it, everybody has seen the condition of the house now, where before only a few people were allowed in the house. So now everybody's kind of walking through with their kids and their grandkids kind of thing. So
yeah, interesting. Well, she's very excited, and I feel like relieved to let you know that this land definitely feels like it's going to stay in the family, because it's all about the love that it brings and the memories, and the fact that there's like 5 generations there. She's showing me that that's just going to continue. So absolutely, let me know when you find out if that's true or not. Like, I'd love to know.
I sure will.
Well, she's pulling her energy back. I hope that was helpful.
It was. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, you guys. That's a lot of live. Well, I went a little bit over my time that I can't even talk. There's so much spirit around, it's not even funny. But I think I'm going to leave it there for right now. I am definitely going to be back on Tuesday, and it will be open for everybody to call in again. So if those of you who've been watching today that haven't had a reading in a couple of weeks because I haven't been able to be live, definitely I will see you on Tuesday. And watch for the blurb that I do today about the online readings and online groups, because what I'll be doing from now on is just putting a post up saying, hi, I'll be hosting a group on this day at this time, and if you'd like to participate, you can sign up. The prices for the online groups are going to be $55 a person, and if you have a membership, it's going to be $50 a person, just to give you that little discount for having the membership. And to all of you again who do have the memberships and come here every Saturday or second Saturday, whatever it is, to watch, I thank you, and I look forward to seeing you again not next Saturday, but the Saturday after. Love you guys. God bless. Take care.